Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to take a little bit of a look at Astral Radiance. You see, when we do the pre-release for a set, when the pre-release happens, I do a video nowadays where I come out and I go, hey, look, just calm it down, alright? We know we don't need to buy singles now. Let me explain. And I show you a bunch of examples from previous sets. I show you how the prices have dropped. And we look at the prices of the big cards from the new set. And I ask you to calm it down, slow it down, have a little bit of restraint. Because the prices are going to drop. Well, I thought what might be fun this time is rather than waiting for the set to be out a couple of weeks, I thought it might be fun to do it on release day. And I'm actually recording before the USA have woken up. So I'm here on release day of Astral Radiance to show you that actually the prices are already tanking. And it's a win-win for me, right? Because if this video has made it onto my channel, I was right. And if it hasn't made it onto my channel, I was wrong, but you're never going to see it. So it's all good, ladies and gentlemen. It's all good. So the big card from the set, I think it's fair to say at this stage, the big card from the set is your alternate art of Dialga V. Dialga V really is cementing itself as the big card in the set, partly because the artwork is absolutely stunning. Just a crazy, over-the-top, stunning card, and there's a good reason, right? It's amazing, alright? The artwork is great. And it's Mitsuhiro Rita, who is an absolute master of the craft, so that shouldn't really surprise anyone. Now, it has not dropped as much as you might have hoped, and as a side note, it was never going to drop that much. Now, don't get me wrong, it's dropped. It has absolutely dropped, but it's not gotten to the ridiculous level because it's still the alternate art of Dialga V. It's still a popular Pokemon. It's still phenomenal artwork. But what we've got is two that have sold recently for $110. Quite cheap. And actually, to be fair, they were best offer acceptance. They didn't actually sell for $110. They actually sold for a little bit less. But right now, I can go and buy one for $75. I can go and buy one right now. Now it's a UK listing, admittedly, but equivalent pricing is still equivalent pricing. I can go and buy one for $75. That is a huge drop. That's pretty significant. Over on TCG Player, as an example, we've got a listing as low as $92. How much were we paying the other day? Well, somebody got an absolute bargain of $90. That is a rare example of when buying pre-release is good, although the centering on that card does not look good. Somebody paid $115 and someone had a best offer accepted on $183. What's it trending at now? About $90. $90 seems to be about a fair price at the moment. Like I say, it's not a perfect system, and the set isn't actually out yet. And in a couple of weeks, if you want, we can update it again and show what's really happening. But I just thought it would be fun to see what happened between pre-releases and release dates. And right now, if you want a copy of this, you should be able to pick one up for $90. And admittedly, somebody did on release day, but that was significantly cheaper than the others. It really stood out as crazy cheap. And that's my point. There are sometimes bargains to be found, but it's very, very rare. If we have a look at Palkia V, the alternate art, I showed you 3 that were sold, one for $195, one for $130, and one for $225. Now that last one is a super cheeky listing, because it is only one card being sold, even though they've blatantly tried to make it look like they're selling 2 cards in one. I really don't appreciate when people do stuff like that on eBay. It's cheeky and awkward. Now, Palkia V is weird, because actually Palkia V is good. Like, really good. Like, hyper-playable good. Well, okay, the V-Star is, but you need the V to go into it. Plus, you got the amazing Kato artwork. So, this is another one we would expect to drop, but not that much. Well, what we've got is a market price of $80 on TCG Player, although it is currently showing as out of stock, which shouldn't surprise anyone. Everyone's trying to make the Palkia deck. So obviously that's, that's a thing right now. Don't worry too much about it. That's going to keep coming in and out of stock. That's kind of a thing. Okay. So what are we looking at in terms of prices for this over on eBay? Well, if we check the last couple of solds, we're looking to beat $130, $195. What do we find? One sold for $65, two had a best offer accepted of, well, under 82. And that's kind of my point here. And incidentally, we could keep going. There are a bunch that sold for around $60 or less. Somebody paid, on pre-release day, somebody paid $195, somebody paid $130, and somebody paid $225, although I think they might have been tricked by the dodgy listing. You should be able to pick one of these up for about $60. If you go onto eBay right now, $60 is about what you should be paying. I'm not guaranteeing you'll find one for $60, all right? But I am saying that that's what a lot of them have sold for. And, there are some listings here all in a row without even really looking. There's two listings for 72 and 73 and one in the middle for 84. So maybe slightly more than 60, although like I say, a bunch have sold for around 60. But certainly $130, $195, nah mate. Not even close. Not even in the same ballpark. Dialga might have only dropped a little bit, but Palkia has dropped significantly. And every so often this happens with a card like Dialga, where the community as a whole decides, hang on a second, that card is absolutely banging, and the price does not drop that much. Dialga might just be one of those cards, but it's already been a fairly significant drop. Now let's look at a couple of other cards. A couple ones that I showed you the other day and I told you were being sold for way too much. So, Temple of Sinnoh. It's a phenomenal card artwork-wise. I adore Temple of Sinnoh. I have the Japanese version of this. I will buy an English version of this, because the Kato stadiums are stunning and the gold Kato stadiums are amazing. Somebody paid around $100 for this. Someone else had a best offer accepted of less than $26.80. Yeah, there are listings on TCG Player for $20. Which shouldn't really surprise anyone, because I told you the gold stadiums are never that expensive. Gold stadiums never get to ridiculous prices. They never really have done. So I don't know why anybody thought that Temple of Sinnoh was going to. Sure, it's a moderately playable card, but this was never going to happen. If we go and have a look at some completed sold listings for this, these are actually on the slightly higher end. We see that some people are spending about $30, but also one that got bid sold for $15. $15. This is a $15 to $20 card, although there are a few people that have paid a bit over that, but the idea of a listing for $100, no! That's crazy talk, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute crazy talk. And like I say, I'm recording this on release day. I was so confident this would already have happened, I literally started recording this video before I started checking the prices, because I just assumed it was definitely going to happen, because it always happens. And we're on release date. If I do this video in a couple weeks, we're going to see even more shocking falls. However, I am becoming very confused by Machamp V. You see, I showed you the alternate art of Machamp V the other day. There was a best offer accepted of $100, which sold for a little bit less. And I told you that if you look at other basically not playable alternate art Pokemon V, and even some playable ones, the idea of paying, even in the ballpark of $100 for a Machamp V is crazy. But as it stands, it's being listed on TCG Player with a market price of about $60. And as it stands, all the ones that were listed have sold out. And if we go to solds, it's selling for about $55. Now, don't get me wrong, $55 is still miles away from the $100 listing we saw the other day. Again, best offer accepted means it didn't sell for $100, but I can't imagine it was anywhere near as low as $50. That's kind of taking the mick. But Machamp V does seem to be settling way higher than I think it has any right to. It is at the moment about a $55 card. Still significantly cheaper than it was, mind you. But this is weird to me, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, don't get me wrong, Machamp is a pretty popular Gen 1 Pokemon and the artwork is stunning, but this is not a card I expected to hold value like this, but all the early signs we're seeing is that actually this might end up being one that does. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know what you've bought. I want to know if you've got some good deals. Obviously, we're on release date. Although I've shown you that the prices are already tanking pretty hard, I wouldn't go rushing out to buy singles yet. I think we're still in a situation where we need to just kind of hold on a little bit. I intend buying some singles. I have got to go and get the gold Kato Stadiums. I have got to go and get that Okacheke alternate art Sneasler. It's got to happen. It's too beautiful not to. But I don't think I need to go and buy them right yet. I think we've got time, quite frankly. I don't think we need to be in a gigantic hurry. I think for stuff like Dialga, you're probably never going to find a great deal. That seems to be one of those cards that is going to hang on. But for most cards, I expect to be able to pick up things like Gold Jubilee Village and Hisuian Sneasler for very little. So I'm not going to be doing that for a week or two yet. I'm going to let the prices crash a bit more before we get there. For now, I want to know what you think about all this, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.